as we all know, Megan Fox and Brian Austin Green no longer together because Megan Fox is dating Machine Gun Kelly after they met on the set of a movie. And she spoke on Lala Kent's podcast, Give Them Lala, this week with MGK and Megan Fox. They had an astrologer on. And Megan Fox,
Randall. Don't forget Randall.
Oh, sorry, I can't forget
Don't forget Randall.
Please don't forget Randall.
We don't want to disrespect him like that. I'm sorry, Randall.
Yes.
And they had an astrologer on, and Megan Fox talked about how the first time she met MGK, she looked in his eyes and said, "This is my twin flame," which she described as being even higher than a soulmate. It's when two souls ascend so high up that they split and go into two bodies, and she thinks her other half is MGK. Yes.
But hold on. But wait, she filmed that, had that realization, and then went home to Brian Austin Green for a few more months, I think it was, and had to pretend like she did meet her twin flame for 3 months.
Right. Isn't that crazy? It seemed like, and she did say on the podcast, because I listened to a lot of it, I was so intrigued, because I really don't know anything about astrology. Like I know enough to be like, I'm a Virgo, and I know like what that kind of means.
The basics.
Yes. And they're talking about your different moons and planets and everything, and it's crazy. And I guess Megan is really, really into it, because when she just heard that Machine Gun Kelly was going to be cast in the movie, like she was cast first and then Machine Gun Kelly came after, and she was like, uh-oh. Like before she even met him.
She knew.
Yeah, before she even met him, she was like, oh boy, like this could be a problem.
First of all, Susan Miller is like the Cher of astrology. She's like a living legend. I follow all of her shit. She's on Astrology Zone for you people who have not seen her or met her or know who she is. She is literally the J-Lo of astrology. Okay, you just can't mess with her. The thing with Megyn Kelly and Brian Austin Green is we've seen this couple have ups and downs before. You know what I mean? Like they've been together, they have broken up, they've gotten back together, had a kid. There was always these rocky moments. And I think sometimes when you're in a bad relationship, you both don't know how to let each other go because you're so codependent on one another. And sometimes it takes someone to come into your life and ignite something in you that you haven't felt in a long time. And I think Machine Gun Kelly ignited some shit in Megan Fox, as we know.
Yeah.
On a physical and a spiritual level. And it sucks that like after 3 kids and after being married to somebody for that long, that you do have to part ways. But I would rather take the brunt of going through a divorce and splitting up than being in a relationship that didn't make me happy. Because what happens when you stay in a relationship that doesn't make you happy is it trickles down and the kids aren't happy.
Right. And I also think about the fact that, like you said, she saw MGK, looked in his eyes and was like, this is my twin flame. And then you think about Brian Austin Green and you're like, oh, she went home to him and she was still with him. But at the same time, even though I feel bad for him in that sense, I'm like so excited for Megan Fox because that's one of the best feelings ever. And it's like super exciting just from within you that you just like know you're like, this is forbidden love. We shouldn't be together, but we are so attracted to each other. Like I was listening to Megan Fox talk about MGK and I was like getting slightly turned on. I was like, wow, I think I'm feeling what you're feeling right now.
100%. But how many times have we as people, as girls, because I'm just one of the girls, how many times have we met a dude and we're like, oh my God, girl, this is the one, I swear to God, he touched me in a different way. Like, right. Especially after having like, if you're having boring sex with your man for a very long time, and then all of a sudden someone lights that gas chamber down under and you have this hot, crazy sex with them, you have to hold those things for 90 days. If you still feel the same way 3 months down the road that you feel on week 2, let's go with it.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't want her to jump the gun and say all these things and then all of a sudden she goes back to Brian Austin Green, or all of a sudden MGK has moved on to the next conquest, you know?
Right. And that's what I'm thinking about with Megan Fox and Brian Austin Green, especially because Brian, I don't know about now, but he was saying when they separated, he was like, yeah, we might get back together. And it's like, What? Are
Right,
you
he
guys
said
still
something-
holding on to this?
Yeah, he said something about butterflies, sometimes they got to fly away sometimes, and, sometimes they come back, which is,
Yeah.
but I feel like he knows Megan's spirit. Like, Megan is clearly a very free spirit, and he is aware of that. And she clearly I took away from that, like, she has come and gone before. Like, she has left and she has come back many times.
For sure. Well,
Yeah.
there's that article that came out that in 2015 he had that undiagnosed brain issue where he was bedridden for almost a year or a few months, and she left him while he was on his bed rest because she needed to go ahead and fly, allegedly.
Yes.
I think for Brian Austin Green, he's holding out hope because I don't think anybody wants to be back on the dating scene at 40-something. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Right.
dude. And this is the problem with men who marry younger women. It's like, at some point, you're going to turn into that old daddy, and you're going to have to get a Celsius, motherfucker, wake up and keep this flame alive, because like I took on the responsibility to marry somebody who was a tiny bit older. You did the same thing when you married somebody younger. So I'm going to need you to put in a little bit of effort. And if you know your girl is a wild flame and likes, to explore and experiment, don't sit at home and make macaroni and cheese and doodle for, the whole time you're married. Get out there. Bring her to Linda. Take her to goddamn Coachella, even though your old ass doesn't want to be there. Steal some Adderall and go do something fun. Like, I don't understand these people. And I think for Brian Austin Green, he's holding out hope because he doesn't want to really have to move on.
Right.
And especially someone like Megan Fox, you would think, oh, this is Megan Fox I'm with. Like, I need to live up to this expectations. I need to be this amazing man. I need to do crazy shit because it's Megan Fox. But I feel like when you spend so much time with somebody, after a while, she's Megan Fox probably wore off for him. And he probably felt like he didn't need to put in the work anymore.
Well, it was like Angelina Jolie, you know what I mean? Like, oh my God, she's so fiery, she's so steamy. And then all of a sudden she turns into a humanitarian who wants to be home at 8:00 every night. And you're like, wait, what happened to the wild sex and the blood vials and the limo fucking? Like, everything kind of goes out the window when you grow up. But I just hope, because you remember how, like, back in the cut, everybody would date John Mayer and they'd be like, he's the deepest person I've ever met. This is a connection. And all these incredible, sexy, beautiful, smart, and talented women would one after the other fall for his shit because John Mayer was a musician. Jessica Simpson.
I know. I read, after reading Jessica Simpson's book, I was like, this woman, unbelievable that she was stuck with John Mayer for so long.
Katy Perry and Jennifer Aniston are talking about becoming godparents to their children because they made a friend. They had a support group for women who dated John Mayer, who fell for John Mayer's shit. And I'm just like, come on, Megan Fox. Like, MGK is a musician. This is his thing. He's a poet. He's supposed to bring people in with his words. I just don't want it to happen to her. But you know what? Fuck it. If it's a wild ride and you're having a good time, why not? You're young. You know what I mean?
Yes. It's so funny to like go back and forth with it because you're like, oh, I want Megan Fox to find love and just be happy. But then you're like, you know what? She seems like a wild child. So if it's a few months of like really steamy sex and they're just totally into each other and then it dies out, it's like, all right, that's kind of what we were expecting anyway, because it is so strong right now.
100%.
And someone like MGK, who, by the way, we never really talked about the fact that Pete Davidson and MGK, who are best friends, both were banging Kate Beckinsale within months of each other.
Kate Beckinsale undervalued that house. Like, you should not be renting that house out to anybody, bitch. You are Kate Beckinsale. But you know what? Fuck that. Actually, Kate Beckinsale went through a shitty divorce. She is sexy as hell. You know what? You should be banging two best friends.
Right. No, it's like, it's almost it's just impressive on their part that they're like Kate Beckinsale, Megan Fox, like just all of these iconic women.
Yeah, but this is the problem. But this is the problem. When you're Kate Beckinsale, you got to be banging dudes who aren't going to go and tell other people that you're banging dudes. You know what I mean? Like, you are that bitch. So like, if somebody, like, there are Hollywood starlets here that have had some very amazing sexual conquests, and we don't know about them because everybody keeps it sacred. They keep it inside the bubble. They keep it inside the box. trust and believe once these women are married or retired, are ready to write that book, they're going to talk about all those conquests. I just don't want people to have the audacity or feel like they can run around and be like, yeah, I hooked up with Kate Beckinsale. Like, no, she's a legend. Stop telling people. You should have felt lucky that you even got to walk inside that house, much less park your shit inside of there.
Yeah. I completely agree, but I also, put myself in the shoes of like a Pete Davidson or a Machine Gun Kelly and being like, wrapping my mind around being with some of the hottest women on planet Earth and just like having to let it out. Like, and Pete Davidson has talked about it so many times. I feel like we're just like being in shock that he has actually been with some of these women. And Machine Gun Kelly is in that same place right now, being like, holy shit, like this is Megan Fox next to me. Like, I don't really, how did I get here? I'm not going to complain. I'm just going to, like, she says I'm her twin flame. I don't know what the fuck that means, but I'm just going to roll with it.
It's like when Tom Green was like taking everyone down. I'm like, y'all really sleeping with Tom Green like that? Like, y'all, really, bitch? Tom Green? It's crazy because I'm not attracted to Pete Davidson at all. But if I were a girl and I had heard that Ariana Grande, Kai Gerber, and Kate Beckinsale kept on going back for something, and I saw the Great Sweatpants video where he was just flopping it around, I would probably try to test it out. Oh, I would be like up in Costco just trying to eat the samples. I would sample it. I wouldn't date it.
Yeah.
I would sample it.
No, there's no dating Pete Davidson. I think that we've all learned that from seeing his past relationships. But there's something to add that maybe Kate Beckinsale wanted people to know that she was with Pete Davidson because of the status he was getting from Ariana Grande. Maybe she was like, put that out there.
She knows the game. She's a celebrity, and she has been a celebrity for 2 decades for a reason. They know how to play the game. So yeah, Kate Beckinsale, probably 60% of her was like, yeah, I want to be young and nimble and show these boys what's up. And the other 30% of her was like, my ex-husband has this hot young model, so I'm going to show him. And then the other 10% of her was like, you know what? I have a movie coming out. This publicity is going to be great. So if you need to tell people that we smashed it out, I'm Gucci because I'm on the cover of Shape magazine. We good.
Yep, totally. So I'm curious as to what your opinion is, Justin, on MGK and Megan Fox long term. Do you think this twin flame burns out quickly?
I think she's going to leave him high and dry.
Yeah.
I think once the world gets back, this is the problem. We're in 2020 right now. You are in the sickest game of Jumanji of your life. Okay. Yep. Everybody's at home. Everybody's lonely and everybody's scared of getting COVID. So what you're going to do is you're going to lock down with the first person who you are seemingly attracted to, not even intensely attracted to. These two people have great sexual chemistry. They probably have a great connection. But what happens when the world opens up and Machine Gun Kelly is going on tour and is meeting all these other people and Megan Kelly has to stay home because her 7-year-old son has a soccer tournament?
I'm cracking up that you keep calling her Megan Kelly. I don't think you even realize that. I'm like, yes, Megan Kelly.
It's been a long day. I've been
No, it is very confusing though. I almost did the same thing before. It's like the Machine Gun Kelly, Megan Fox. It's all same name.
Yes.
So I think Megan Fox and Machine Gun Kelly, I'm going to call them Megan Kelly as a couple.
Right. Yeah.
I just think
what an unfortunate couple name.
Right. I think she's going to get bored. I think she's going to get bored with them not being on the same page. But I also think that Megan Fox dates men who she can kind of control. I feel like she can kind of control Shia LaBeouf when they dated. I think she could control Brian Austin Green because she was all hell Megan Fox. But Machine Gun Kelly has big dick energy as well. So I don't think she'll be able to control him as much as she would like.
Right. And he is her twin flame. So if she's saying he has the same energy that she has, he might be running off.
And by the way, when was the last time you dated somebody who had the same energy as you and you were like, yeah, this is a great idea? I run from those people.
No, you need opposites.
Opposites. I would never date a Scorpio. I would never even tell someone to date me. I'd be like, oh, no, no.
Same. Whenever I'm a Leo, and when I see people talk about Leos, I'm like, yeah, you're right. Like, we really
You're
love
right.
the attention and just like love ourselves. So I don't really know.
I just love that their couple name is Megyn Kelly.
It's
Oh,
so
man.
good. So good. We should just make sure that like trends so that Megyn Kelly, real Megyn Kelly is like, what's going on?
She would love it. Megyn Kelly would love any kind of trend right now. Okay.
Right?
Because
Right?
she's just sitting her ass at home enjoying that payoff. Okay.
Yep. Exactly. Exactly.